during this past college football offseason, Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss spent $20 million and used the transfer portal and NIL funds and all that to assemble what they thought was a championship contending roster. It was the most hyped Ole Miss team in who knows how long. 50 years? I don't know. Forever. And fast forward to late November here, and they have 3 losses and are pretty much eliminated from the college football playoff. They have a loss to Kentucky, who is 4-7 right now. Kentucky. They just lost to 6-5 Florida on Saturday, and they have a bad loss to an LSU team that is unraveling. They spent $20 fucking million to go to Shreveport for bowl season? To play in the Independence Bowl? Or the Music City Bowl? Really? I mean, you have got to be kidding me. All that offseason hype and talk and all the NIL funds spent to assemble this roster, all the money that the boosters and the donors and the fans ponied up for Lane Kiffin, and he's going to give him the fucking Music City Bowl? Come on, Lane! Man, I'll tell you, that's not good. That is not good. That is not how you get people to keep donating to your program, Lane. That is how you end up getting fired on the tarmac again at some point. Yup. Lane Kiffin, he was the head coach at USC for a few years there. He was at Tennessee for a year. This was supposed to be the roster. This was arguably the most talented roster Lane Kiffin has ever had as a head coach. And now he's going to get, and he can't even get better than 9-3. And they didn't even have that bad of a schedule. They've lost to Kentucky and Florida. Florida's coach has been on the hot seat for most of this year. What are you doing? This is the thing about Ole Miss. We should have known better, because the number one rule about Ole Miss football is Ole Miss is going to Ole Miss. That program, going back to Hugh Freeze, Houston Nutt, whoever the coach is, they cannot handle prosperity. They just can't. They never have been able to, and it doesn't look like they will be able to anytime soon either. Anytime people start hyping them up, they always come crashing back down to reality. And the reality of the situation is, no matter how much money you spent to build this roster, you're still Ole Miss. And you're going to be Ole Miss in the playoff. See what I did there? Yeah, I spent a lot of time coming up with that one. Jackson Dart, absolute disaster class. Disaster class. On Saturday. Threw an interception on an overthrown deep ball in the end zone. Then when they got the ball back on 2 consecutive plays, one was a near interception that was originally ruled an interception but then overturned. And then literally the next play, he throws an interception. And I'm watching the highlights. Who the fuck is he throwing it to? He threw it right to the defender. Did he forget what uniform he was wearing? What uniform he was supposed to be throwing it to? I mean, maybe because there was a lot of talk about Lane Kiffin replacing Billy Napier at Florida. Maybe Jackson Dart had already thought, maybe he'd already thought it had happened and that he had transferred with Lane Kiffin to Florida and was, I don't know. It was bad. It was bad. And it's going to be another year of coulda, woulda, shoulda, and what ifs for Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, A game they had no business, games they've had no business losing, and they've dropped a couple of them this year. What a massive, massive disappointment this season has been for Ole Miss.